Boaters, how you doing? This is Pauly from All Docked Up, and never, ever am I doing a podcast without my main man, Captain Buzz.
Pauly, what's going on, man? How you doing? How you doing tonight?
Dude, I'm doing fantastic. I'll tell you right now. I'm set once again downtown Annapolis. I'm sitting in the office, and my office is on the third floor, and I'm literally overlooking, the harbor, and it's friggin' beautiful. I love it. I absolutely love it.
And it looks like like last week. It wasn't as dark as it was. I mean, the sun's changing quick this late in the season.
That
right
it
now,
is.
It's almost dark outside.
Yeah, currently right now I'm watching a meatball going right through the no wake zone. And I tell you what, sometimes they kill me, Captain Buzz. They kill me.
Is he a whole meatball or half a meatball?
Nah, he's being a full meatball right about now. I'll tell you what, 22 plus footer, throwing a wake right through, and with all the boats that are out on the mooring balls in the harbor, somebody needs to give him a fresh one. This is no good. But I'll tell you what, it's awesome though, because we got an awesome special guest, on our podcast tonight. I'm very excited. We have Captain Greg, the owner of Annapolis Electric Boat Rentals downtown, and it's exciting.
Welcome,
awesome.
Captain Greg. This is fantastic.
Well, thank you, guys. It's an honor to be here.
I'll tell you what, we're going to cover some awesome stuff. And I'm pumped up. I am pumped up.
Let's get into our boater bites. And so this one's on me. Last week we had you had the Bronzino.
Bronzino's a beautiful thing with the fish. Oh, I love fish. Oh my God.
So I'm happy to report that because I know you complained about my ribs the last time, and what did you say? You're going to give me a fresh one or something like that.
If you ever change the recipe again, you're getting a fresh one. You're getting a head or gut. Pick which one you want. Don't ever let it happen again.
So I took your advice. I normally do when it comes to things culinarily. I went back to my old rub and started them in the oven, covered up, and then I finished them in the smoker. And dude, yeah, they were awesome.
Incredible.
So served the ribs. We had them the other day. Served them with. I made that cucumber and onions salad with the.
The one that I really like. Yeah, that's
with the
great.
Rice vinegar.
Oh, that's great. That's fantastic. By the way, everyone who's listening, Buzzy, I'll be at your house in an hour. I'm going to crack you upside the head with a boat pole. You can send some of this stuff to Annapolis there, pal.
Oh, I'll bring it down when I come.
Oh, yeah. I'll wait for you at the boat show. I'm not you bumping. Oh, you're killing me.
So we also made a mango pineapple corn salsa to go along.
Really? You don't say.
It was good.
You know what? I'm gonna send Bonnie after you. I'm telling you.
Well, you got the invite. You didn't show. What do you want me to tell you?
What invite? Whoa. Let's back up here a minute. What invite? What are you talking about?
Well, you didn't get it?
Oh, you want to play smart guy now? Yeah, that's it. Guys, everyone who's listening, he's totally full of shit. Absolute full of it.
So let me go into my captain's briefing.
What do you got, Cap? What do you got?
Well, and I have it on my boat, but accent lighting in the cockpit and underwater lights, right?
Okay.
We installed those accent lights on the side where my the air intakes are on the side of the boat. Got underwater lights that we put in. I've got blue cockpit lights from mood lighting and all. However, turn them off when you're underway at night.
And why is that, Captain?
Well, because the navigation lights are the ones that folks need to be able to see, and if the underwater lights or the blue lights are on, that tends to if you see blue lights, that's the law, right? That's the either the DNR or the Coast Guard have blue lights, and if you've got blue lights, it can get confusing, and so boats need to at night. It needs to see the red and the green and the stern light, or the all-around light, depending on the size of your boat. But you've got to turn those accent lights off when you're underway.
I'll tell you what.
They're for that to dock or when you're at anchor.
Captain Greg was just telling. Captain, tell us about that story about the boat that you just moved.
So, yes, I was able to help Watermark move one of their boats, the Raven, from here in Annapolis up to the Inner Harbor in Baltimore. And we left at 0200, 2 a.m. And on the run up there, they were showing me how this boat, the design, the windshields, all the interior glass line was completely vertical. So every light in the boat, the radio, the instrument clusters, the navigation, everything reflected off the light or off the window glass right back into the boat. So once we cleared the channel markers that we knew we had to clear and the crab pots and all the silliness that we have to deal with out there, once we were on our way and heading up, we covered everything with a towel because it looked like we were being attacked by boats from all sides with all this glass line and all these lights being reflected back right directly into our eyes. So
which completely, right? I'm telling you, it's some good it's a good story with your captain's briefing because it completely kills your vision.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It distorts your vision because your eyes have to adjust to the light that's outside of that pilot house, outside of your cockpit, so you're paying attention to the right lights.
That's right.
So Captain Greg, these devices and equipment didn't have a setting for running at night?
They absolutely did, but even at that lower setting and some of the different colors that goes with our night running, it still reflected straight off of the glass line back to us. So it'd just be safer to cover it. And my understanding was this is one of the first boats that they had built. So a lot of feedback to the designers to say we need to cant that glass line so that you're not reflecting all that back in.
Wow.
So that was fixed. So Captain Buzz, I'm curious, since we're talking about this, how do you feel about some of these boats that use these bright spots to look at a channel marker or something of that nature?
I'm okay with that with a quick on and off. If you need to find out where you are and you need to see a number on the buoy to fix on your position, or you're using it to come into a dock. But folks, it's not a headlight, right? It's not a headlight.
Well, how many times have we been underway, Captain Buzz, at nighttime, and you see boaters physically using their spotlight active while they're underway, and it's like a big no-no.
It seems like some of these new bow riders and things have these two almost like car type of headlights on the bow, and people drive them as if they were driving around with their car lights on. We've seen them. I live on the Severn River, and we see them run up and down the Severn with
all the
their
time
headlights on, as if that's what it was intended for.
But they're uneducated and they don't know. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's educate them right now. If you have, lights that are on the front of your bow that are inlaid into the fiberglass, they are specifically used for docking purposes only. That they should not be in operation while you were underway.
That's correct.
Night vision is extremely important, and that takes their night vision away. And it takes a bit of time for that night vision to correct itself so we can clearly see again.
I'll tell you what, that's awesome. I had another quick thing to share real quick in reference to this. This past weekend, I was on the water taxi, and not a local, but somebody who was visiting the town decided to take a picture of the captain of the water taxi on the way back to our marina.
And flashed him.
And he had to stop the boat. He could not see a thing. All he saw was spots. And I'll tell you what, we had no moon, complete overcast. It was dark in general, leaving Ego Alley and then coming through the harbor. And I just shook my head. And the woman looks at me and she said, "Did I make a mistake?" I said, "Ma'am, you made a very big mistake."
Well, the good thing is the water taxi guys are very tolerant of others' mistakes. So.
Oh, I'll tell you what, God bless her, because you know what?
Yeah.
He had more patience than I would have. I absolutely promise you that.
One of the other things that I do, and Pauly knows this, I keep a very small pen flashlight with me at the helm, right? So I don't need to turn the cockpit lights on to see a switch that maybe not be illuminated, or I need to find something. Keep a tiny little flashlight at the helm just for that running at night, and I need a little extra light.
Well, not for nothing. Me and Captain Buzz are complete flashlight addicts. I love flashlights. Are you a flashlight addict too? I love flashlights. I got them everywhere. I mean, I buy flashlights just today. We were going through a provider's location, a sailmaker, and in their ship store. And Bonnie Smith, our East Coast sales director, says, "Pauly, get away from the flashlights." She's sitting at the desk right now, chuckling right now. She's like, "Stay away from them, Pauly."
All right, so Pauly, let's get into your detailer's briefing tonight.
I'll tell you what, detailer's briefing. Do you wax your windshields or you don't? I see a lot of people that, they got watermarks all over them. They wash them. They do dry them. And in detailing boats for years, I've had customers see me with the buffer, and I'm buffing out their front windshield, and they're looking at me like I got 3 heads. And I'm telling you, and she's like, Pauly, why are you doing that? I said, well, number one, I'm using a very mild, compound because I want to get the water stains out of the glass, the calcium buildup on the glass. I said, but number two, I wax your windows because the customer said, Pauly, make sure you Windex the windows. And I said, no, ma'am. I said, I'm going to wax them. She's like, well, why do you do that? I said, have you ever used Rain-X? I said, she's like, I'm like, do you understand what that product does? She's like, oh, we know what Rain-X does. And I said, when I was detailing, multiple boats, I wax the windows. And when they're out and about, rainy day, how many windshield wipers have you guys seen that are on their boats that they go to flick on and they're rotted to the core? They've never changed them.
I'm in that club as well.
I've been guilty of it as well. I've been guilty of it as well. I mean, Captain Buzz changes his, but guys, wax.
I'm not in that club because I change mine all the time.
Well, once again, that's why we call you AB boy. We were just referring that a couple seconds ago. But nonetheless, wax your glass. Go ahead and use a very mild compound. It will not scratch your glass at all. Obviously, if you have any type of tint, which I only see it on the inside of the glass, that's a different story. But, compound your glass a little bit, get the watermarks out, and I wax them. And it's phenomenal. Nothing sticks to them. When it's raining out and you're underway, it's fantastic because all it does is literally sheen right off the glass.
That's a great tip.
It's a great little trick, and it takes a couple of minutes.
So do you wax in lieu of Rain-X, or do you use both?
I am not a fan of Rain-X. I never really have been. Because I would use a polymer-based wax, or I would use even a Carbo-Nubo, paste wax, whatever. And I would literally let it completely haze over and then dry that off. Use 2 towels. One, you take all the product off. The second towel, which is fresh and clean, never been touched, I go over it again. Make sure you don't leave any smear marks. It takes a little bit of elbow grease. But when you got that fresh coat on there, I'm telling you, the glass stays perfect. The windows stay perfect. Pilot houses, cabin cruisers, sport cruisers, open bows, whatever, it just shears right off. So that's one of my tricks that I use. I'll tell you what, not for nothing, Captain Greg, I put wax on everything. Okay, I wax everything. If a lot of my customers, when they sit on their vinyl seats and I treat them, they slide right off. And I'm like, that's how the seat's supposed to be. And then, normally the owner's wife doesn't like me all that much. But what are you going to do?
Sign a good quality detailing.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. So, I believe wax everything that you possibly can. Keep a barrier on it, and it just saves you. The boat is saved. The boats love wax. They'll suck it up all day long. Yeah. So that is my detailer's briefing. I'll tell you what, everybody, we're going to open up the floor for Captain Greg, and he's going to talk about, he's the owner of Annapolis Electric Boat Rentals. He's a certified Coast Guard captain, and take it away. It's all on you, Bubbles. I'm excited to hear about how you do this with the boats, and this is really cool stuff.
It's been interesting. Well, thank you. We have Annapolis Electric Boat Rentals. We have 3 22-foot electric Duffy boats. They're run on 16 6-volt golf cart batteries.
16 golf cart batteries. Dude, that thing's steady. That boat's steady.
That's interesting that you bring that up because they are all on the floor. So it makes them for very stable boats. Now, with a golf cart battery and the equivalent of basically a 6-horsepower engine, it's really a forklift or a golf cart motor that's vertically mounted down to what's called a power rudder. So what makes this boat interesting to drive is this power rudder rotates 180 degrees.
Okay.
So I've had on 2 separate occasions, unbeknownst to me, bay pilots on the boat. And I always take the customer out of the fairway and I bring them back into the fairway to where we keep the boats parked. When I brought the boat back into the fairway, I can get these boats, if I time everything just right, I can literally get them to slide in sideways. And both bay pilots asked me what my bow thruster was because of the way this rudder rotates over. Now, what's also interesting, and I tell all my customers this, my inexperienced boaters, typically when they leave from the dock, tend to oversteer the boat way too much. But what they do so well is bring it back to the dock because they're not driving the boat like they have at home.
Okay.
My experienced guys leave the dock usually pretty well. They usually give too much throttle. They usually leave it too well, and they're an absolute train wreck when they come back to the dock. They're like, oh, man, it just drives different. And I warn every single one of them. And in fact, it's gotten kind of fun for me now. I almost make it a challenge for them, because these guys that are experienced are the ones that want to show everybody how they can dock, and they come back too fast and all that kind of stuff. So I make it a challenge for them in a way.
Wow.
To kind of get them to slow down. But that's a little side
up for
note.
that challenge.
I was going to
wanna
say
try
Captain
that
Buzz wants to try this. I knew he was going to say it.
Off, but so they're fun little boats. Top speed of the boat is about 4.5 knots. The capacity plate on the boat is 12, but I limit it to 10 just for comfort purposes.
Okay.
So we keep it. The passengers can bring food and drinks aboard, but obviously the captain cannot drink, as you would expect.
Yep. No booze and running the boat. No booze and running the
And I
boat.
think for the most part, people adhere to that pretty well. And I do tell people, like, my name's on the back of the boat, my phone number's on a banner. The people know the boats. The water taxis we talk about, they certainly know the boats. I've worked real hard over the years to create good, solid relationships with those guys. And I tell them all, if you ever see anything that shouldn't be happening out there, to call me. Don't hesitate to call. I've had neighbors call. Unfortunately, every once in a while, someone doesn't pay attention to the safety briefing, and they get stuck at the head of spa, and I'll get a neighbor call and say, hey, Greg, we've got one of your boats stuck up here again.
Oh, boy.
And that's a whole nother thing, the briefings we talk about, and we can go into a little bit of detail on that. But they're fun boats. They're very comfortable. What's neat about it for me and what I've seen over the years, and this is our 5th season doing it, is I get a lot of people that have never had the opportunity to be on a boat. And in some cases, they're downright nervous, if not scared, to leave the dock. I do a very thorough safety briefing, military coming back out. And when they come back, they're ecstatic. They want to know where they can buy a boat. Of course, they want to know how much every boat costs out there. But
Do you physically attend with them, Captain Greg? If they're complete novices, if they're totally paranoid, do you spend the time with them? How do you do that?
So the very first question that I ask each one of our customers, and I don't care where they fall on the spectrum of experiences, what is your boat driving experience? First thing I ask, what is your boat driving experience? And you can sense a lot based on how they respond. I get the guys are like, well, we do a pontoon boat every 3rd season up at Deep Creek. I'm like, so 0. And then we get
you don't qualify.
So I had my favorite answer this season was, what is your boat driving experience? And the gentleman responded with, my grandfather in his boats. That was the dude's answer.
That's
so
good.
I'm like,
That's good.
So 0. And then we have some that now my favorite also this year on the other side of that was I asked what the guy's boat driving. He's a young kid. He said, I've got an unlimited master's. I'm a cargo ship guy out of Florida. And
Whoa.
he was on his way to the Pacific Northwest. He and his wife are moving to start running boats up in the Pacific Northwest. So I just basically flipped him the keys and said, peace out, brother.
Yeah, have yourself a great day. I would say you're more than qualified, Captain.
Yeah, but just remember the 180 rudder.
Right,
Comes
right.
back in.
I said, we meet a lot of people. We do see some stars and some people, some celebrities. I said, in my eyes, you're more of a celebrity to me than those guys are. I think it's so cool what he does. But we talk about, so from there, I have worked with DNR, their safety department. So one of the things we talked about is if you're born after July 1st, 1972, the state of Maryland requires you to have a boater certificate.
Okay.
So if they don't have a boater certificate, I sit with them with this material that I've received from DNR. I have them read the material, and I tell them, don't feel like you need to memorize it. Don't overthink it, because we're going to boil it down as to how it works to what you're going to see out here. And in a lot of cases, they're overwhelmed, and I'm okay with that because I want them to take it serious.
Sure.
And then we debrief on all of it. We talk about what they're going to see, how it's going to be impacted with the Duffys and that kind of stuff. And then once I've got a good sense that they have a basic understanding of the rules of the waterway, we'll sign off on that certificate. Or if they're of the age where they're grandfathered in, we'll take them out. Now, I have had cases where people have gotten 15 feet off the dock, and I've called them back in and said, not happening. I'll take you guys out, but you're not driving the boat. They just had zero control, zero command of the boat, either too much throttle or oversteering, whatever the situation is. I won't hesitate to bring it in. Because, again, it's my boat, it's my reputation, it's the safety of others on the water, it's the safety of their crew as well. So,
Captain Greg, what what do these boats look like? And I'm asking for a description so that boaters that are navigating, the Annapolis Bay and where these boats are can give your customers a break. Meaning, right? Oh, there's an Annapolis Electric Boat Duffy boat,
Yeah.
and there's a good chance that there's a novice on board
Yeah.
running the boat. So what do they look like so folks can cut them a break?
So they're 22 feet, as I mentioned. One of the things that makes them pretty identifiable is they're fully enclosed as far as a canvas overhead. It's one of the only boats running out there from stem to stern that's enclosed with a canopy. We do have windows that we keep up in the summer. In the fall season, as we continue, we'll put those windows down. It makes it very comfortable. But you'd be hard-pressed to not know what the Duffy looks like because it's such an unusual boat on these waters. And we do keep them in Spa Creek and Back Creek. I don't let them out, or I don't let them out on the bay. But I will say, to your point, Captain Buzz, there are people that do enjoy challenging my guys, knowing full well that they're probably inexperienced boaters. They take advantage of stuff. And I have started using the saying, which I actually stole from a customer. He used it with me, and I said, do you mind if I use that? and I say to everybody, you're always better to be safe than right. And I'll be quite honest.
I like
that. It's better to be safe than right. I like it.
Myself that way because there are certain cases where I know I have right-of-way rules. Right-of-way is on my side. But you know what?
It doesn't matter.
I'm right.
Me and Captain Buzz have had the same conversation. You can follow the rules of the road down to the absolute T, down to the science. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. You have to be a defensive boater because you can be the most educated, right, Captain Buzz? How many times have me and you been out there? And Buzzy's like, Pauly, hold your course, and Captain Buzz has taught me so much. But once again, you can know every rule under the sun, but that doesn't mean everybody else is going to.
I will admit this. I probably shouldn't, but I will admit this. My wife and I were out. It's been several weeks ago now on the Severn. Early in the morning, we went to go get fuel at Smith's. We lived straight across Round Bay.
Okay.
There were two boats on the Severn River that morning, us and another, and we were on a collision course. And I had right of way. And I was not backing down. I was.
You wanted to be right.
You wanted to be right.
I was so frustrated, and we came so close. He finally did back down a little bit and go around my stern, but I hit him with 5 horns. I'm not even sure he knew what that meant. My wife was in the back screaming, "We have right away," and then she came and screamed at me, and she was right to do so, and I was wrong. Even though I was right, I was wrong. I was wrong. And I apologized to her later. I said, that was a lesson for me to never do that again.
No.
Because it wasn't worth the potential outcome.
No.
It's not.
It never is.
I don't know what this knucklehead was doing. I don't know what he does know or doesn't know. I don't know what his boat control is. I don't know if he's ever run that boat before. It was wrong on all cases. Even though I was right, I was not safe versus right. And that's where that safe versus right came from. And I tell my customers, I say that to myself as well. Be safe versus right.
Good story. Really good story. So how did you choose this business? I mean, how did you go? I want to be an electric boat owner, a rental company owner.
That's my number one question by my customers. So I worked in the corporate world for about 25 years, almost all of them for the same company. And that afforded us to travel all over the world. And every time we were out somewhere, we're always on the water, whether it be Bora Bora, Greece, or Portugal and Spain, whatever it is. And I always walk around and go, how does somebody do this for a living? Like, how does somebody get to hang out on boats and meet people and do this? And one of the websites the company I worked for owned was a site called Biz Buy Sell, which is a business brokerage site. And I did commercial sales training for the last 9 years of my career. And in preparation for our international sales conference, I was going through all the websites, and I saw pictures of these boats, and it said boat business for sale. It was December of 2016. And I immediately called my wife and said, we're buying these boats. And she immediately responded and said, no, we're not. March of
She gave you a
2006.
fresh name,
She
nay.
did.
Yeah, not a chance, buddy.
March
So you
2007.
wanted to be right. You didn't necessarily take the safe path.
No,
You
no,
wanted
no,
to be
that
right
was-
again.
Remember, I'm an excellent salesperson, so I owned him by
Okay, there you go. There you go.
I owned him by March of 2017. When we looked at the business as a whole, we met with the previous business owner. Nothing against them. One of the fellows that was running the boats works here. He's a great friend and a friend of the business. But we felt like there was a lot of hair on the deals, as we have a tendency to say. And so we ended up just buying the assets and rebranding. So basically we bought the boats and the phone number, and everything else we rebranded and started from scratch.
Nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong
I've
with
done
that.
it
And
multiple times myself.
It allowed us to start from fresh and kind of build the reputation that we wanted to build and that kind of stuff. And so what I tell everybody is, and this is very true, I gave up money for happiness. I had the opportunity to continue working at this company and have a safe, secure position, make decent money, but I gave it up because I wanted to be happy. Now, I couldn't have done this without my wife's support. I mean, she's got the real job and all that good stuff. But there have been so many people that have come to the boats and said, man, you are so happy. And it is true because I get to meet people like yourselves and have really cool experiences like driving the Raven up to Baltimore and this kind of stuff. But the one thing that I hear fairly frequently too is I want to do that too. I just have to wait for this or this.
Well, the
or
timing
this.
has to be right in
But
the
it doesn't
person's
always
life.
have to be, 'cause
Yeah.
that's the scary part is then you hear somebody has a health issue or something.
And they never get
and
the
they never
chance.
get a chance to do it.
Oh, I'll tell you what.
That's
I am that guy.
exactly.
I'm that guy that when I see
Hats
something
off
that
to
I
you.
want,
Yeah.
I do it. I do it. And I've even Captain Buzz is like, Pauly, you're working yourself to the bone. You got to do this. You got to have downtime. And Buzzy's been breaking my stones about it for years. You got to have the downtime. You got to do this. And I'll tell you what, I was hard-headed as no tomorrow. My attitude has completely changed.
Yeah.
That's why I love All Docked Up. I love what I do every day.
Well, some people, they dig all that hard work. I mean, they love it. And I work harder now on the boats than I did in the corporate world, but it's for a different purpose. It's for a different
You get to look at
reason.
the water every
I
day.
get to look at the
Yeah.
How much is it going to cost somebody? Like, how long can somebody rent your boat for?
So because they're electric, and I'm very careful with the batteries for both for the customer's purpose and for the boat, we rent them for 1, 2, and 3 hours. So a 1 hour run is $175, a 2 hour run is $350, and a 3 hour run is $450.
$450 for 3 hours.
3 hours, right.
And when a customer physically comes back with one of your 22-foot electric Duffies, how much battery life is remaining on them?
So I will not let those batteries be depleted more than half. If that happens on those lead acid batteries, that in essence will kill the life of the battery by half. Now they're estimated to be good batteries for up to 5 years. So I keep them as fresh as possible. I've built in an hour and a half turnaround time between rentals. That allows me to get them in, throw them on a charger, clean them as the best that I can. And now with the new COVID restrictions and things, trying to adhere to that, it's even more so.
Sure, you're
Trying-
sanitizing them.
trying
Everyone's
to
got their
sanitize
fingers
it.
all over the place.
Yeah,
So you
exactly.
clean them extensively.
Yeah, I do.
I love it.
Yeah, and then they're there and ready for the next customer, and I don't have to worry about is that customer going to come back with batteries charged. I'm always comfortable that they're going to be able to go where they want to go and be able to come back to the dock.
Even if they're running that thing full board, 4.5 knots, you know that they're safe.
Everybody does. I mean, I have the conversation all the time. I tell everybody, look, you're not going anything faster or further. You're going the same distance. You're just running the boat harder. But they don't go that fast, and so people just mash that little throttle down and away they go. So I know that. I know that going into it.
I'll tell you what, that's awesome. I love it.
So I've got to think, Captain Greg, that you've got a story about a particular rental that you'd like to share.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah, you know there's that guy.
Tell us about that guy.
Well,
He's thinking, Buzzy, he's thinking right now.
I've got a few, if I could share. So I'll tell you one, which was our first into the season. I will tell you, the bachelorette parties are not always my favorite renters. We typically have someone that's pretty good at driving. They listen to the training well, but that does not mean that the rest of the crew is not going to just get annihilated. So I'm always a little leery about that. But one of our first seasons, we had a bachelorette party go out. And I was scrambling to get boats out. We were just trying to get our feet underneath us, trying to figure out how this works. And they called the company phone number, which my wife answered, and said, "You've got a problem with one of the boats." And I said, "What's going on?" I said, "One of the bachelorettes is having a panic attack on the boat." And I said, "All right, well, I'm going to get in the dinghy." This is Memorial Day weekend.
Oh, boy.
So it was rougher than a son of a gun. They did not listen to the briefing, and instead of coming back into Spa Creek, they continued up, heading up the Severn River towards the Route 450 bridge.
Oh, wonderful.
And it was
rough. Wonderful.
It was rough. So I took off in my dinghy to go hunt them down, which I have the boats on a tracker, Captain Buzz, so I can see where they are if they do get into a situation. So I headed up to go get them. I had to transition from the dinghy to the Duffy, where one of the bachelorettes was leaning over a trash can, having an absolute panic attack. And I said, what are we worried about? And she was worried about tipping and everything else. And I said, well, I'm going to drive you back, and I'll let you know if anything happens. Well, no sooner did I see that, a big cabin cruiser came sailing by and just waked the heck out of the boat. So
through a massive weight.
She did, yeah. She was
insult to injury, and she's blowing a head gasket.
During this, one of the bachelorettes slides right next to me, whispers into my ear, "Can you just take her off this boat and take her back in the dinghy?" And I said, "You think she's panicked now? If I go put her on that dinghy,
she's going to shit a brick." Absolutely.
So
this is not going to end well.
Now, I've been seasick. Pauly, have you ever been seasick?
Absolutely.
Captain Buzz, have you ever been seasick?
I have.
Okay. We've all been seasick, and we know what it feels like. It's a miserable experience. You also know that it does not go away the second you step foot on land. But no sooner did I get her back to that dock, and she stepped off the boat. Instead, she was fine. Now, I will tell you, the capper of this story, if I would have show you a picture of all these bachelorettes and said, "Do me a favor, point to the one you felt was the one that was sick on the boat," you immediately would pick the right person. And it was all about the fact that it was not her day, and the attention was not on her. So she brought it all back to her, and the bachelorettes were very frustrated. But they did sit right there at the dock and enjoyed their time. So that's one story. Another shorter story, when people don't listen to the briefings. We had a gentleman who was a second renter, so now he's an expert.
Total professional. Oh, Captain Buzz has seen it. We've seen it.
I tell all of my folks, do not go up Eagle Alley. Do not go up Eagle Alley. He went up Eagle Alley. And he came up, turned around. The Pussers was packed. The Fleet Reserve was packed. And everybody started screaming at him. And he panicked and turned to starboard and ran right into a boat parked at the Fleet. Now, remember, my boats don't go that fast, and they're not causing any damage to speak of, a little gel coat rub. But I will tell you, I got a call from a very upset Fleet Club member screaming at me that one of my boats had just hit his boat, which it did, and it all worked out on the end. But now I can tell people, do not go up Eagle Alley, because that's the one place where we've had an accident.
Oh, I'm sure.
So I'm very adamant. And that's one of the things I use for the tracker. And then on the positive side, we had a young couple come out, and my wife spotted it immediately. They no sooner left the dock than my wife said, "They're getting engaged."
Wow.
She's getting engaged.
Aww.
So to come back, she was flashing this big ring everywhere, and we called it. We took pictures for them. It was a great day, great evening. And a year later, I got a call from the couple that wanted me to pick them up after their wedding, take them for a night run, which I don't let people take the boats out at night. I'll run them at night, but I won't let people take them out. And they got engaged in Wells Cove. And they asked that if I picked them up they got married over at the Waterfront Hotel, and drive them to Wells Cove where they could toast to where they got engaged.
Aww.
Very cool.
Very nice.
Was a neat experience. That was kind of full circle for us and for them. That was a fun one.
I'll tell you what, that's some awesome stories. And you know what? We're almost out of time. But the one question that I have for you is this. What are your thoughts on All Docked Up?
So it's interesting.
Particularly pertaining to the podcast.
Well, let me talk a little bit about in understanding what you guys do. So my ultimate dream, we have a house on a family house on the San Juan Lopez Island.
Okay.
Pacific Northwest.
Nice.
Very nice.
Well,
God
I'm
bless you.
very familiar. I've boated up there.
So that's what we want to do. We want to build this, whatever, get to a point where we can get something up there and be able to travel and cruise. I have no idea what services are there. This app that you guys have would be an incredible service for somebody up there that doesn't have the knowledge that I happen to have here locally because I've lived here. But when I get up there, I'm going to be...
When you get outside your traditional realm,
That's
as we
an
build...
interesting perspective we hadn't thought of. That's great.
Well, I'll tell you what, the head of marketing here at Yacht Sales International that, Miss Amy helps us out with all the time. The one thing that he said, Pauly, we have 5 locations and our service manager in the office is sitting behind me and he has a question for you. And I said, yes, sir. What is the question? And he said, Pauly, can you please hurry up and get to Florida? and I'm asking him, I said, well, why is that, Cap? He's like, because I have 3 different locations to take care of. If when you guys are in Florida and I can go right to the app and order the services, get everything taken care of, you will literally save me endless hours. And I was like, oh, I got to tell Captain Buzz and, Jeff Hauber about this, my business partner.
Well, if you watch any of the social media, if you look at Facebook, Puget Sound, sailors, trawlers, all that kind of stuff, a lot of the posts are people asking their fellow boaters, where can I get this service done? Who can do this for me? Who can do that?
Yeah.
And you get a lot of responses. But if I had an app that I could look at first, I might maybe ping people for a reference, have anybody use this, but that my starting point would be all docked up. That would be my starting point.
Awesome.
In regards to the podcast, as I said, first and foremost, it made me laugh, which is entertaining. But I will tell you, this is, as I said, is our 5th season. We've seen an incredible change in the boating pattern since this COVID epidemic has hit. For our business as well. The business went crazy because this is where people felt comfortable. But as we all know, boat sales have gone through the roof.
Exponentially.
And there are a lot of center consoles running around out here on Spa and Back Creek.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of these people don't know the first thing about...
They're novices. They have no idea what's going on.
Bow to stern, to port, to starboard versus anything else. And to listen to your podcast and listen to Captain Buzz's briefings and things where we talk about radio channels and ambient lights and all that kind of stuff. Not only is it good for the novice boater, but as I mentioned earlier, we got a bunch of captains together and started debating, like, what do you do? Which channel do you monitor? Why do you monitor Channel 9? I said, you don't actually monitor Channel 9. Don't kill me. That kind of stuff. It was a fun debate. It was a fun debate. But what it does is it brings up conversations. And hopefully through those conversations, somebody will eke some knowledge out of that as well and hopefully be a better, safer boater.
And we can keep you laughing at the same time.
That is a tremendous compliment. Thank you. Yeah, that's really to hear that other captains are listening to this and debating what we're talking about. It just makes my heart soar. That's fantastic.
Yeah, it doesn't always have to be right or wrong. It's the conversation around it.
And an awareness about
an awareness.
It's the round table. Yeah. It's the awareness. If you have more conversations, I learn something new every day, 2-3 times a day. I always learn something. And I'll tell you what, and that's what I love about boating. I love about the business. I love about All Docked Up because I get to go from provider to provider, dealerships, boat dealers, brokers, mechanics, diesel, gas, you name it. Because every day, me and Bonnie are out on the streets front loading our platform to build it as robust as possible. But the stuff that I learn every day in each individual field, putting all that together to make the boating industry happen, phenomenal. I have a blast doing it. So
it shows.
I'll tell you. And I'll tell you what. Every time that someone's, the boater that's out there, that like you said, that is the know-it-all that knows absolutely everything. He can be the biggest, most dangerous person out there.
Well, I tell everybody. People ask all the time, aren't you afraid of letting somebody that doesn't have any experience take your boat out? And my response is always no. They're my best customers. My worst customers are the quote unquote boaters.
Yes.
Because they're the ones that want to go and take it to pussers and go pull up to a dock. They leave the dock too fast. They always hit the dock. It's because they know everything. The guys that roll their eyes when I'm doing the briefings, I know I've got problems. I know I'm going to have a problem. My inexperienced guys are so leery and they're so tentative and they're paying so close attention. Typically, I'm almost always more comfortable with them.
Because they're timid and you know they're absorbing that information and they're going to do what you ask.
That's exactly right.
And I love it.
That's exactly right.
Well, I'll tell you what, this was awesome. Captain Greg, thank you so much, for coming on the podcast, talking about Annapolis Electric Boat Rentals and sharing your experiences. And I'll tell you what, Captain Buzz, we're having them on again. We're having them on again. The next time we need cocktails, because I had no cocktail tonight, and I'm not after a day of solicitations.
Paulo, what's the matter? What
Dude,
happened?
we were busy all day today. I got a good story for next. I'm going to share it, by the way. I was at Fleming today.
Oh, save that one.
I'm saving it. But anyway, listen, I'll tell you what, Greg, Captain, thank you so very much.
Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
guys.
And I'll tell you
great.
what, Pauly here from All Docked Up, signing out on 6-8.
Captain Buzz from All Docked Up, standing by on 6-8.
Guys, have yourselves a great evening. Good night.
Thanks all.
Thank you all.